So now we're going to play a game, Julie-Anne, and we're going to play a game called Cat Therapy. Because we all need therapy, let's be honest. We all need something from the earth to help us calm down, soothe ourselves, etc., etc., etc. Cats are no exception, right?
Oh, yes.
All right, so I'm going to give you a list of behaviors that cats may display, and you're going to tell me how you would approach it if I were a pet parent bringing this situation to you. Are you ready to play?
Cool, let's do it. Yeah, definitely.
All right, so first one is very common, and it actually leads to a procedure that I detest, that should be outlawed in all of the world. A cat is scratching inappropriately.
That procedure you mentioned, I agree with you completely, should be banned and outlawed. It is barbaric. So if a cat is scratching inappropriately, my head is just like firing like 20 million thoughts right now. Okay. So
I'm sure that none of these are that simple that you can just be like, this herb, but let's try to see, I guess, your top approaches.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you for helping me narrow it down.
Yes, because I'm sure this is very complex.
Yeah. So my first thought would be behaviour work, first of all, and then remedies. So behaviour work is you need to redirect it to a more appropriate place. So, if it's on the sofa, which is where a lot of cats will scratch, let's look at that. And cats will always scratch. That's what they do. They need to scent mark their territory, and they've got scent markers on their pads, on their feet. So get them to, direct the behaviour to a scratching post. People don't know this, but if you rub your hands up and down a new scratching post and you put your scent on it, because our hands have got sweat glands, we've got our own scent. If you 3 or 4 times a day stroke this new cat post, the cat will eventually come over and start to scratch it because it wants to mix its scent with your scent. Yeah, absolute fact. So the more you scent mark the new scratching post, the more the cat will come over and want to do it. And when it does it, lots and lots of positive reinforcement, treats, verbal praise, cuddles, whatever works for your cat. That would be step number 1.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I've never heard that before. I love that approach. All right. Yeah. Cats. A cat is fighting with his or her housemates, other cats. Where do you go from there?
So my first thought would be herbs for this one. Yeah, definitely. So I would be looking at calming, relaxing herbs. So generally, if there's aggression in the home, there's usually an overstep of boundaries. There's not enough territory or there's not enough resources. But before you look at any of that, you need to get the cat's anxiety down, because their aggression, their reactivity is because they are feeling stressed. So my go-to would be valerian. It smells like sweaty feet, but it is my top herb. It is selected by cats so much more than catnip. So it would be valerian root in one corner, chamomile in the other. Just like humans have chamomile tea, it's calming for our nervous system. Exactly the same for cats. Calendula, or sometimes called marigold, that helps to boost self-confidence. So if your cat is feeling timid and it's reactive aggression, it will help to soothe them and calm them down. And the other would be dried hops. So the same thing that's made with beer, obviously, try to get organic for all of these where possible, so they're not treated and don't have any chemicals on them. But hops helps to reduce testosterone. So even if you've got a fixed cat, male or female, if you put hops, it has a calming effect on the hormonal system of the cat. So those would be my four herbs for aggression. Yeah.
Wow, I must be part cat, because in my house, we definitely use valerian, we definitely use chamomile, and we definitely use calendula for everybody. And of course, we drink beer. So we are part cat here for sure.
Love it.
We respond well to all those remedies. All right,
Excellent.
Next one is actually pretty common and kind of scary. The cat is dying to escape, trying to get out of the house by any means possible.
Very, like you said, very, very common. So I would probably do a mixture of herbs and behaviour. So if a cat is trying to get out, it could potentially be because they're bored. So the more enrichment you can bring into the home, the better. High levels, hidey spaces, puzzle feeders, electric toys if you're at work, anything you can do to help the cat find its own environment stimulating. That would be something that could help. And then secondly would be probably angelica root as a herb, because it's very, and rosebuds. Both of them are very nurturing. So again, if the cat's trying to get outside, it wants more. It's got a drive to have more stimulation, or it needs more. So if you offer the nurturing herbs, it's going to help kind of give it a hug, calm it down, give it love, and actually bringing that love into its heart space, into its environment, I reckon would help.
That's so cool. Cats want to be fulfilled just like we do, don't they?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I believe that for sure. So cats being finicky about their food, how would you approach that?
Take it slow. Cats are, as we call it, finicky with their food. But actually, do you know what? It's part to do with self-selection. So part of it is because they're looking at it or sniffing the food. It might be, it might not be fresh. So if bacteria start to grow, it can smell it and it won't want to eat it. It could be because they need variation. So they need other minerals and vitamins from other brands, other flavors, other proteins. So it's not as straightforward as just, leaving it down until the cat eats it, because cats won't eat it. Their innate mechanism to put the best into their body will override their hunger. So the best thing I would suggest would be to have patience and take a deep breath. It would be for the human, this one, it would be just take a moment to think, to let go of your frustration. I've been there, like literally the last 24 hours with my new kitten. Take a deep breath and think, right, okay, let's let go of my need to make him eat, my need to eat this flavor, and let's take a step back. So that would be my advice. That would be take a step back and just try one thing at a time. Try not to put too much pressure on yourself as a cat mum or a cat dad to do the right thing. And at the end of the day, whatever food you can get in them, that's what's important. That really, really is the key. That is what is important. So just take a step back, take a deep breath, and see where you can go from there.
I love that. I love relating that back to the self-selection process. Like, we definitely need to listen to what our cats are telling us. They know their bodies best.
Yes.
All right. The cat is not using their litter boxes.
Very,
gross.
Very complicated dish.
Yeah, gross, frustrating, complicated.
So again, it kind of, do you know what, this is brilliant because you brought all of the answers to the last few into one. It would be take a deep breath, and again, get out the house, right? So when this is happening, our frustration and anger and our emotions will impact the issue and make it worse. So as humans, we've got to take a step back and come to it from a place of compassion and think, okay, my cat is trying to tell me something. I might not know what it is. I might not understand. My cat is trying to tell me something. So come at it from that perspective rather than, for goodness sake, would you just use the litter tray? Let go of that anger and try to find compassion. And then I would say, wherever the cat is weeing, put a litter tray there if you can. If it's on the bed, not perhaps such a good idea, but if you can have it there during the day and then take it off at night, the cat obviously feels safe wherever it's urinating or doing a poo. So look at why your cat feels safe in that space. And if it's a question of they do it when a certain person comes over, put herbs down. Herbs will really, really help. Obviously, get the vet check done to make sure there's no physical issue. Always a first port of call. But in terms of, any guardians trying to help their cats, take a deep breath, put extra litter trays around in the places that the cat is going, and then put down some herbs. So any of the ones I've mentioned so far would be great. Any calming, any nurturing would all help.
That is wonderful.
It's a very broad term.
No, that's really great. I mean, look, when somebody's desperate, those three starting points are salvation, really. The last one I have for you is actually, I was a professional pet sitter for a really, really, really long time. I have seen cats really stressed out when their families leave and leave them behind, especially a cat that's not used to having a pet sitter, hasn't developed a relationship with their caregiver when their parents or their families are gone. So what do you recommend when a cat is showing signs of stress, whether it be during a travel, a pet sitter situation, or just a generalized anxiety stress situation?
Yeah. Our emotions in that moment make a huge difference. So again, deep breath or walk away, whatever you can do. So if you're there as a pet sitter, you can't necessarily walk away, but take a deep breath, just sit down and sit quietly and just literally calm and ground yourself. 3 deep breaths I find works a dream in many, many occasions. So take a deep breath and try to talk lovingly to the cat. If you're in the car, for example, when we're doing a vet visit, our human anxiety will go up and up and up. Again, had this recently myself. So I know that I've got to be aware of how I am and how I'm dealing with the cat and what I'm giving out to the cat. So secondly, I would say my nurturing remedy is rose, and whether you use rose buds, again, organic if possible, so they're not treated, especially rose and lavender, because they're usually perfumed. So organic if you can, rose buds. And if you can't get hold of the dried herb, use the hydrosol, which is like a halfway house between the dried herb and the essential oil. It comes about when you distill essential oils, so it's kind of part water, part essential oil. And you could, again, put it on a tissue or a piece of fabric. You could put it underneath the blanket of the carrier, providing it's not too strong. If you're in a pet sitting situation, they could leave a herb garden down. You could spray the hydrosol on your legs as you walk into the house. I've done that with many clients, many reactive cats. As I walk in, they smell my feet first, and they smell catnip water or rose water. And you can literally see them take a breath, and they're like, okay, so you're not so much of an interloper. I will accept you in my territory. It's been amazing, I tell you. Your face, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I wish you all could see my faces when I speak to these amazing people giving me all of these amazing insights. I wish I had known this when I was walking into these aggressive cat situations.
Yeah. I mean, I had a situation where when I was training with a feral mum. She had kittens. She was horrendously reactive. She wouldn't let the rescue centre go anywhere near her. They were just pushing bowls in because they couldn't get in. And we managed to squeeze the herb garden through the doors, which obviously was a bit muddled, but there were herbs there. And then the rescue worker went in 20 minutes later with frankincense water and rose water on each leg. She put her kind of leg through the gap in the door. You saw the feral mum, right, take a massive deep breath, and she just turned around and went to clean her kittens. So the rescue worker then walked into this room, collected up all the dirty bowls, scooped the litter tray, and walked out. Up until that point, they'd not been able to get in the room. I mean, herbs and floral waters, that's what it did. Phenomenal.